Everyone, today I decided to change my approach to the PowerPoint presentation. So I will read my PowerPoint presentation. You will not be forced to read my words. And I try to show you some experiences from what we decided to project, to design our project that you can see in the documents of the day, described as archives of the memory of the residents of Forlì. Unfortunately, I have to, as Claudia said, unfortunately this project until now is not come si dice, active, realized, yes. It's a very complicated project, so maybe it will take me some time to trying to give you all the details about from what we decided to begin to work on it. First of all, I'd like to, starting from the point Sandra Nauert already said about the interpretation of the stories that are linked with ATRIUM. I begin showing you the images, maybe not the of this place. This is the Museo Diffuso della Resistenza di Torino. The place where we went, me and Claudia Castellucci, for the first, really, the real first time when we decided to project, to design the project, the Santarelli project. We talked about it in the last days. The Santarelli project.
Center of interpretation of the.
So you talked another time.
Today we were to the Levin Foundation.
Yes, very near. This is the project of a museum. Yes, the first thing we made is to go in Torino and visit that museum, that a particular museum of the resistance. You know what it means for Italy. There are also, this institution is an institution that had been created for the memory of the resistance of the Second World War. In that particular museum that had been designed at the very beginning of the thousands, come si dice, il 2000, thank you, they decided to insert in their exhibition the direct testimonies of people. So one of the first things they did is to make a lot of interview of people that lived during the resistance. So this is the experience from what we decided to think about the same thing for Forlì, obviously, starting from the resistance and all the experiences that are in some way the good interpretation of the period of the fascism in our city. So another experience I want to show you at the beginning of this very fast dialogue is about a city that is a membership of ATRIUM route. Scusate. Allora, la memoria dei Salinari. Come si fa qui? Video. Queste non abbiamo Google normale qui? Forse Firefox. Ok, just a minute please. I'm just to find it. Non adesso. I have always problems with. Okay. This is the site of the city of Cervia, that is a member of ATRIUM, and is a site about the interviews they made to people that used to work on that particular place of the city of Cervia, that is the place where from the 16th century people used to make salt. So this kind of experience had been described directly throughout the experiences of people. And obviously the interviews are in Italian, but as you can easily understand, these experiences are very, very small experience, the everyday life of people, people that used to go to work and produce salt. As you can see also from the details of the places where people had been interviewed, these are very, very everyday, simple experience. Another experience I want to show you is about Archivio dei Diari, just in order to give you some information and then discuss about it. Pieve Santo Stefano, ecco qua, is just a website, but in this particular experience, very important experience in Italy, I think unique in Italy, that had been created almost 30 years ago, yes, in 1984, almost 40 years ago. Yes, they decided, this municipality decided to collect the diaries of people, the everyday diaries. Also in this case, the kind of documentation, these diaries should not have to be particularly interesting or connected with important historical figures, but just simply, but people, everyday people that has the interest on writing this kind of documentation. And in particular, if you will have the opportunity to visit that museum, I think that it's a very good experience. Yes, you will see how they try to communicate, and also from a visual point of view, documentation. Diaries are some way books, so it's quite difficult to make this kind of objects interesting in visiting a museum. So they had been very successful, in my opinion, in creating an exhibition with having this kind of object, but with new ideas of communication, this kind of documentation. Another experience I want to show you, maybe we should come back, is I granai della memoria. It's another very interesting experience because it's made by Slow Food. Maybe you know this association about food and culture on food. And this project that is linked with a university, obviously, but raised from an association, Slow Food, and it is still now used to create not only memory but also contents for the everyday discussion about the topic of the association. It started like a place, a digital place, where put the memory of food.
Producers.
Pardon?
Producers.
No, in the very beginning of this project, it was a digital catalog in order to describe and to maintain the memory of food in the tradition throughout the interviews, like in Cervia experience. Now it is a place, a digital place, where people, interviews are used also to create contemporary contents. So not only memory, but also information throughout the experiences of people. So it's a very, very interesting point of view. The idea that the everyday experience of people can be interesting can be used in the discussion and in the normal activity of this association. Then the last experience I want to show you is Scene da un patrimonio. Album San Lorenzo. It's about what I tried to say last time we met. So the problem of being in connection with cosa succede?
È sotto. Album San Lorenzo.
Okay. The connection with this kind of activity with the institution, the ministry institution, the national institution that can give the right point of view in discussion, analyzing, but also in preservation of cultural heritage. Album San Lorenzo is an experience made from a particular come si dice, quartiere, estate of Rome, San Lorenzo, where a group of young people decided to involve people, the residents appunto of the San Lorenzo quarter estate, in order to collect memory of people that used to live there. Not as you can say throughout this particular photo, you can notice that the photo and the documentation that group of young people asked to the residents of San Lorenzo Quarter wasn't about San Lorenzo Quarter or Rome, but simply about the day of these residents. So the importance of this project was in the opportunity to make people, come si dice protagonista? Protagonist. Thank you. Ok, sto esaurendo la mia capacità di inglese, ve lo dico subito, c'è un traduttore. Va bene, quindi these are the different experiences from which I just would like to clarify what were the boundaries inside which we tried to create our project. So what we did? The first thing as I said in the day before, we tried to use a map perspective and the Faro perspective. Map in Italian, I don't remember exactly how it is in Europe, but is museum, archives, library, and so on. So trying to involve institution, we were involved in the administration of the city. So our point of view in designing this project was a little bit different from what I'm trying, what we should say now. We should as it is now. So, but the importance of the involvement of institution that collect cultural heritage in the communities. In my opinion, had been strategical, and maybe not. It is not possible to realize this kind of project not involving institution. So it's quite simple to say, but it's true. The other perspective was the Faro perspective. So the idea, as in this last experience I show you about San Lorenzo Quarter, the idea to make the different communities of the city protagonists in this particular experience. So we tried to do it, identifying a particular topic or a situation. We started from a particular experience, the experience of citizens of Forlì that had been involved in the African War just before the Second World War. You know, Italy was involved in a strange war to conquer part of Africa, and a lot of people, male citizens obviously, had been involved in this war. And so in 2017, I'm not sure, but we tried to collect documentation and photographs from a particular community of people that still had maintained the memory of their ancestors, of their parents that had been there in Africa. And we did it with the help of Fondazione Levin. You met them yesterday. Today, they said to you that they are particularly found on interviewing people. They used to interview people until in the last 30 years, so they are particularly found in this activity. And so we started this experience asking people that we know had this kind of memory to give us some documentation about their parents and ancestors, and interviewing them like, come dire, witness of this experience. After this first activity, we asked Fondazione Levin to contain their experience, and we decided to choose 3 particular topics that not ambiguous from our point of view, clearly not ambiguous. That is always our problem. We try just to, as Sandra chiaramente ha detto, we always try in the past to start from topic and arguments not ambiguous. So we started from the experience of female during of women during the fascist period, in particular the worker women that were always involved in the first, come si dice sciopero, work break, strike, the first strike in Forlì, also I think also in the north of Italy.
Tania presented the experience the first day of the
Okay, esatto. So starting from the experience of Tania, starting from the activity we made with the Istituto Storico della Resistenza, designing that guide tour, we decided to collect some interview about this topic. So we interviewed Tonina Laghi, unfortunately died almost 1 month ago. She was 99 years old. We interviewed a lot of people, not only people with a political background, also the grandma of my husband that died 1 year ago at 100 years, come si dice, centenaria. We interviewed her in order to ask her point of view about the experience of women. She was a woman, and we tried to create this common contest in order to extend it to other citizens and people. Very briefly is what we did. We made interview and we collect documentation, but we also have we had some problems, and we still, I think that it would be clear to, it would be, scusate, correct to say 2 things about qualche cosa insomma su questo genere di problemi, with this kind of problems. So the problem we had on this project, the problems we had were about having a virtual place where put all this information and identifying that place from an institutional point of view. In creating interesting in citizen and population, and creating interesting not only in people that should be involved in give their testimony, thank you, but also people that are not exactly, that were not directly involved. Another problem was about how to process this information, how to make this information useful, not only to create a beautiful site where people where we said, for example, in Cervia, where listening these experiences, but also to make these interviews and documentation useful for history research, not obviously scientific history research, but a research interesting and useful for the citizen, as in Faro perspective. So all these kind of problems, and other problems was about the different technology. We decided to to realize these interviews because it was very difficult for us to, in that moment, we were the municipality of Forlì, but we had a lot of problem from a technological point of view in digitization of VHS, non so come si dice, 8 mm, film, movie. Yes, and a lot of audiovisual documentation. So these were also a problem for us. And the place, as I said, where put that information, that interviews, maybe it should be not logical, but as a municipality, dealing with the personal memories of people is not so easy. It's quite difficult. So probably it will not be successful for us, also for this reason. In this moment, I have to say to you that a lot of communities in Forlì are still interested in creating these small projects of memory for the city. So, Municipality of Forlì linked to ATRIUM is not active from this point of view now, but the citizens of Forlì, I don't know, I don't think, because they were completely, come dire, ecco, non ho capito perché. But a lot of group of communities in Forlì still are interested and are still working on collecting this kind of memory. In particular, I'm dealing with a feminist group that is not connected with ATRIUM, but maybe we should make this connection from these feminists from the 70s to ATRIUM. Maybe there are some connection to create, but also in Fondazione Levin, as maybe you saw, there is still an interesting on this project, and they are trying to make it go, come si dice, farlo crescere, making group. Vabbè, l'hai detto tu. I'm sorry, my English is very bad. Ok, io direi che è quello che volevo dire. Loro sono devastati e pure io, e quindi se volete, se avete qualche, do you have any question about this experience, in particular the experience I show you that are successful experience, not like our. So if you.
Naturalmente tutto questo aveva un senso se ci fosse stato il Santarelli.
Beh, certo, sì, ma hai detto che ne avete già parlato. Sì, the context of this project obviously were Santarelli. As I show you, we thought that like in the Museo Diffuso della Resistenza, we could put that kind of information, documentation, interviews on the in the exhibition of Santarelli project. But it's a little bit complicated to explain it now. Maybe I think that this is the right level to.
Questions?
Cioè, ho spiegato un progetto che è andato male, che non sta riusciti a finire, cioè che domande vuoi che mi dica?
For example, this project I think are super interesting.
Yeah.
Project very original, and the involvement of citizens on them, I think is something to show and to be very proud. My question is, now that it's a project that is ongoing and
Microphone.
Yeah, but not
This project of San Lorenzo?
well, no, I'm referring to different projects that we are presenting.
Ah, okay. The one we try to do.
Not the one that we try to do. The ones that you say that are successful.
Ah, this, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
My question is, the project itself, it's fantastic and it's important and it's, I think, accomplishing some objectives. My question is, you were able to think in some actions on how to engage more people or how to disseminate the project, or there's any potential connection with the schools, for example, or students? What are the next steps for these projects?
I think that these projects are very different, each from tra di loro. Come si dice? Ecco, perfetto. This one in particular, the last one, that in my opinion is the most interesting from a Faro perspective. I think that the most important aim of this kind of project is to, in the process, not exactly in the collection of images or interview, but in the process. As I can see now that I'm not anymore come si dice, an administrator of the city, but I'm a simply citizen. As I said, I'm involved. I'm trying to lead a project of this kind with a group of feminists, and I think that we have this group of people declared to have just 20. 50 photographs, 100 magazines, and so very, very small objects. But they are interested in create community, to discuss about what happened in their memory, to, come si dice, confrontarsi, face each other in order to define together come dire, to make a common narration, to create the ground for a common narration of an experience they made together. Because, you know, so this is, in my opinion, the most important aim of this kind of project. For the connection with the school is always very important and useful, and but I'm not sure that this kind of material should be, come si dice, pronto, ready to be shown to students. So I think that there is these are not sources. In a, come dire, in a technical from a technical point of view, these are not sources, and I said that we try to be not to be ambiguous in choosing topics on which make interviews and collect documentation. But we know it perfectly, and Sandra can confirm it, that individual memories are ambiguous and create a lot of problems in defining. So I think that the importance of this kind of experience, in particular this one that in my opinion is the most come si dice, più vicino, the nearest in our idea, in our original idea, is the process, not the outputs from a documental point of view. So no schools.
No, but I think that it's also interesting, maybe.
Yes.
From a point of view of the same process, as you were saying it. I was naming school as an example, but I think that these kinds of projects that are fit completely in this philosophy of Faro, no? Engaging the communities in all the processes of heritage, it's something worthy to show. Obviously, this is a very good frame because it gives us a lot of ideas, but I think it will be interesting also to see how we in this field we can share also these.
There
this process?
In the role of institution. As I said, institutions are very important, necessary to make this kind of real. Read. In this case, this is the Ministry of Culture. So this is the institution that in some way hosts this experience. But if the institutions are that are the one that guarantee the relationship with schools, the possibility to, come dire, to communicate, correctly communicate the concept of this kind of experience, but the institutions are in some way opposite to the cioè, come dire, this kind of experience has to raise itself, not throughout the institution. This is a contradiction. Maybe I'm not able to tell you something clear about this fact. We showed this contradiction. So when you put this experience on the attention of schools, you have to add a process of come dire, the objectivation of the information you are going to show to the students. And maybe, and so you need an institution that control all the process. But if you are interested on the Faro, like in the Faro perspective, on the, come dire, yes, bottom-up approach, maybe there will be some problems. So it will not be so. I see. The contracts, the conflict, a lot of problems probably will. I don't know. I don't have any child, so I'm not interested in school.
Very clear message, Elisa.
This is an idea of only of Elisa. No, I think you have to visit the Archivio dei Diari museum because it is an interesting experience of the use of personal memories in the way to be useful for the wide public, because they choose some part of the memories, and they asked to some actors, national actors, very good actors, to interpret the personal memories, and at the end you can open a little un cassetto. Eh? Okay, and you can hear the memory and the entire. The sum of all memories is a fresco of the 20th century, and this is the result of a selection of parts of the very wide material. So if you collect memories, it is important to think how to use these memories, but it is, I think, a very useful mode to work with communities, to involve communities in the narration of the city, of the events, but it's something really delicato. Okay. But go to Archivio dei Diari.
There are also a lot of, on YouTube, a lot of video about Archivio dei Diari. It's a very important institution in Italy. You know,
it's little, but it's very intelligent.
Nanni Moretti, someone of you knows Nanni Moretti is a director in Italy, and almost 20 years ago he made some short films about the story of these, some of the story of these archives. So you can have some connection, some information, more information about it. Maybe we should collect some diary from fascism. You should.
And don't lose time. And don't lose time.
But,
Cosa?
Bisogna sbrigarsi.
ma
Dicevo adesso di sì, è vero, ormai è ora di andare.
Dico, perché non
Sì, sì, sta morendo.
beh, c'è però comunque la vita, quello che è sul sito di Atrium, no?
L'ipertesto.
L'ipertesto. There is an hypertext on the website of Atrium that is about the ordinary people.
But
and
one of the other problem of this kind of a collection is that a lot of institutions, also this one for example, in the past collected a lot of interviews, from video interviews, audio interviews. There are a lot of interviews in the closed, come si dice, archives of institutions.
in old format.
Yes, in all format. It should be interesting also to make a project just making this kind of documentation be accessible for people, but it's too complicated. We had just half an hour.
No, if there are other questions.
Basta.
Okay, so thank you.
Grazie a voi. Thank you very much. It had been a pleasure not speaking English.
So for today.